Hello everyone and welcome to 9-Inch Charge. Today we are going to talk about my absolute favourite character in all of the Mortal Realms, Prince Maesa. Prince Maesa is a nomad prince from the Wanderers sub-faction of elves in Age of Sigmar. He's the creation of Black Library's Guy Haley and has been featured in several audiobooks and short stories. And this summer comes his first full-length novel. In this video we are going to ask, who is Prince Maesa? Who is his travelling companion? What is his motivation? And why am I so excited for this book? Just before we begin, if you enjoy this kind of content and you'd like to see more like this in the future, let me know by dropping this video a like. And if you're interested in Age of Sigmar or Warhammer the Old World news, rules and lore, please consider subscribing to the channel. For centuries, Prince Maesa of the Nomad clans has wandered the mortal realms. Exiled from his people for the crime of loving a human woman, Maesa's woes were compacted by bereavement, for human lives are brief sparks compared to those of the elves. Since Elamar's death, Maesa has sought tirelessly for a means to bring her back. Now, accompanied by the spiked Shattercap, Maesa nears the end of his quest, single-mindedly daring the deserts of Shyish, the fury of slumbering demigods, and the wrath of demons, to restore the life of his true love. Yet the souls of the departed are guarded jealously by the god of death. To carry out a true resurrection is to earn his contempt, and Nagash is the most unforgiving of all the realm's deities. That is the blurb of the brand new novel Prince Maesa, and this novel promises to piece together and expand upon all the existing stories that we have, turning them into one continuous narrative, and finally resolving some of the cliffhangers that we faced. So I'm not going to talk much about the previous stories that we've had because ultimately they will end up being spoilers in this novel. So instead of talking about individual stories that we've had, I'm just going to talk about an overview of the character. So as the blurb said, Prince Maesa is an exiled nomad prince. He used to be part of the Wanderers and now wanders alone, except for his companion Shattercap. Shattercap is a really interesting character. He's a spite that is bound to Prince Maesa, and who is a naturally evil character, who is constantly trying to fight his evil nature and claims that he is on the path to becoming good, a trait that he seems to be only aware of since having met Prince Maesa. Prince Maesa still refers to him as Little Evil. Shattercap almost reminds me of Gollum from Lord of the Rings, when he has these kind of internal monologues where he's discussing things one side as Gollum and the other side as Smeagol. Shattercap is a really useful aid to Prince Maesa because his natural ability with magic allows him to see things that others cannot, and he quite openly and willingly shares his powers with Prince Maesa. However, he does have another nature that is more spiteful and that is more selfish, and he will look out for himself and will not reveal all the truth to Prince Maesa, and also try and get in the way of his quest if he thinks it will benefit himself. Prince Maesa knows this and is unwary of the Little Evil, but they are travelling companions and friends of sorts in a way, and their dynamic as they travel through the realms together is really interesting and a really great part of the story. What else I find really cool about Prince Maesa is that he is a wanderer, and it's no secret that the Wanderers are my favourite sub-faction in Age of Sigmar. But what this does is this kind of gives Guy Haley a blank canvas to explore the realms, because Wanderers are adept striders of the hidden paths of the realms and the ways between realms. So as a nomad prince, Prince Maesa knows all the way between the realms and is able to pop up pretty much anywhere he wants at any given time. And there's been no shortage of places that he's turned up so far, from the deserts of Shyish to the realm of beasts to the realm of life to the Shade Spire, where he has an encounter with the Cataphragnes. And not only is he really great at travelling, he also has a lot of tricks up his sleeve. He has some family heirlooms that go all the way back to before the Age of Chaos, back when Alariel and the Wanderers were on better terms. And she gifted things to his family, including his sword, which is called the Song of Thorns. It's able, with one touch, just to sap the soul out of anybody who it cuts down. So there is a scene in one of the short stories where he's fighting some wraiths or some ghosts, and because of the magical nature of his sword, as soon as he hits one, its soul is just absorbed into the sword, which I thought was really cool, especially when he's being ambushed and outnumbered, by so much. And actually, it's pretty much one touch from his sword will slay one of them, but one touch of them will do untold damage to Prince Maesa. And what's also interesting about him is that although he is a very single-minded character and he's very determined in his quest and he's very focused, and he does have all these great swords and abilities and things with him, and he's got a magical sprite as a companion, he's by no means a Superman. There are really tense moments where he comes against creatures and monsters that far outweigh him in terms of the damage that they're able to deal, and he has to use all of his cunning and all of his skill to negotiate and fight his way out of very difficult situations. As an elf, he does tend to rise above the normal kind of emotional constraints of humans, but it's always there in the background that actually he is full of heartache, and although he very rarely openly states the reason for his mission, it is always there. He reminds me a little bit of Robert De Niro's character in Taxi Driver when he tries to open up when he's asked if he's okay, and he states that he's absolutely fine, and things might be going off the rails a little bit, but he's fully under control of things. But it's just written all over his face that it's not, and that's kind of what Prince Maesa is like. He's kind of cool and calm on the surface, and you might not necessarily know, and he doesn't give a lot away, but there's an in there that lets you kind of come alongside him and understand his motivation very clearly at the same time. It's very cleverly written. As I said, I'm not going to talk about specific examples, but he has turned up in a lot of different stories. So the first one was an audio drama called The Autumn Prince, and that was where he goes to see the Cataphragms in Shadespire, and that came out alongside Shadespire when it was the Underworld season. Then there was a short story that was called The Sands of Grief, which is absolutely my favourite story of Prince Maesa so far, where he goes to the realm of death, and that linked in with the Necroquake and all of that stuff that was going on in the lore at that time, where he witnessed legions of skeletons collecting Realmstone. Then he appeared in Inferno magazine in the story The Brazen Claw, and that had a really interesting setting. That was in the realm of Beast, and the Brazen Claw is a tavern or an inn where people seek refuge, and it's in the hand of a slumbering god beast, and in the tavern is a fire, and it said if the fire ever goes out, then it will wake the god beast. So they have to make sure that there's a storm, and they have to make sure that the fire stays on, and then the hand starts to move, and that's a really cool story and a really cool setting. And then he makes his way across from there to another part of the realm of Beast, where he encounters a monster there. But whilst he's in the tavern in the Brazen Claw, he does open up about his history and tells a really fascinating story, and a really cool and dark story actually about some of the goings on in the realm of life. Now, ordinarily, I would recommend all of these stories because, like I said, they give really good insights to the realms and different aspects of the realms that we haven't seen before, and also they tie into different points, very key points of the narrative. But as they're going to be folded into this novel anyway, I'm not going to recommend them at this point. I'm going to say wait until the novel comes out if you haven't yet read or listened to them, and then enjoy them in this new, fully fleshed out way. I, for one, cannot wait. As soon as it comes out, I'm going to be ordering it and I'm going to be reading it, and then as soon as it's read, I might do a review afterwards. I will say that at one of the Warhammer Fests a few years ago, I did have the privilege of briefly meeting Guy Haley and talking to him about this specific character and the unfinished business that he had in the Mortal Realms. So now I am really pleased to see this all fully fleshed out, and I do hope that in the future, once I've read it, once Warhammer Fest is back and we can actually go in person, I hope Guy's there and I can talk with him further about how it's all ended up, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how one humble elf and a spike can go up against the god of death in the Mortal Realms. Thank you very much for watching. Please be sure to leave a comment and let me know what you think. I do read every single comment. If you've enjoyed this video, please be sure to give it a like, and if you'd like to see more content like this in the future, please consider subscribing to the channel. And if you'd like to take the conversation even further, you can join the 9-inch Charge Hobby Hangout group on Facebook. This is a place for us to come together as a community and encourage each other and chat about our hobby, and feel free to share your models, thoughts, ideas, or ask any questions that you may have. There's a link in the description below. And if you'd like to support the channel, you can find a link in the description to our Patreon page, or you could become a YouTube member. And you can also support the channel by using the affiliate link we have to Element Games. They have a really extensive hobby range. I'm sure you can find anything that you're looking for on there, and they also sell it at a discount to Games Workshop. And if you use the affiliate link, we get a small amount of commission back that we can use to put back into the channel. As ever, this has been 9-inch Charge. Thank you very much for watching, and I will catch you next time.